In 1991, Detective Matt Scudder, in a car with his partner, is urged to get help and is told he is not a reliable backup. Scudder then enters a bar and gets coffee with shots. Two armed men come in and kill the bartender. Scudder shoots one, pursues and kills the second assailant, and the getaway driver. In New York of 1999, a drug addict named Peter Cristo approaches a retired Scudder, asking him to help his brother Kenny, a drug trafficker. Kenny tells Scudder that his wife was kidnapped and her kidnappers demanded a ransom. After he delivered the ransom as instructed, the kidnappers directed him to a car containing her dismembered body. Kenny asks Scudder to help him find his wife's killers. Scudder ultimately agrees to help him. Scudder researches similar killings via newspaper archives at a public library. He reads about victims Marie Gotskind and Layla Anderson and believes the crimes are connected. He meets TJ, a homeless streetwise youth, who helps with the research. Based on a newspaper article, Scudder goes to Greenwood Cemetery in Brooklyn and speaks with groundskeeper Jonas Lugan, who discovered Layla's remains. The evasive groundskeeper cuts off the conversation, provoking Scudder's suspicion. Scudder talks to Layla's fiancé, Ruben, who saw two men drag her into a van driven by a third. Across the street, Scudder sees Lugan exiting an apartment building. Scudder goes up into the rooftop and finds a pigeon coop, where Lugan is living. Scudder sees voyeuristic Polaroid photos of Ruben and Layla having sex. Lugan arrives and admits that he helped kidnap Layla. He had conspired to take Layla away from Ruben, who is a drug dealer, and help her stop using drugs. Instead, the other two tortured and killed her. He tells Scudder that he should be scared of the other two men because they're not human. Lugan feeds his pigeons, gives Scudder one name, Ray, and then he jumps off the roof to his death. The two kidnappers, Ray and Albert, survey the home of Yuri Landau, another drug trafficker. After realizing Landau's wife is bedridden, they prepare to leave for a new target. However, they see his 14-year-old daughter, Lucia, and Ray decides to kidnap her. Scudder eventually learns victim Marie Gotskind was a Drug Enforcement Administration agent and determines that whoever murdered her also has her files, which they have been using to target drug dealers and traffickers. Meanwhile, Scudder grows closer to TJ, encouraging the boy to study and avoid a life of crime. He finds TJ in a hospital one day after a street gang beatdown and learns that TJ has sickle cell anemia. Scudder gives him a cell phone. During a conversation with TJ, Scudder explains why he retired. During the 1991 shootout, he was intoxicated. One of his stray bullets took a bad hop and hit a 7-year-old girl in the eye, instantly killing her, even though he received a commendation for chasing down the 3 robbers who killed the bartender. He quit his job as a cop and he gave up alcohol. Kenny brings Scudder to Yuri Landau's home, where the kidnappers call and arrange to exchange ransom for Lucia at a cemetery. They demand $1 million. And in exchange, Scudder demands that they bring Lucia alive and well. Kenny offers to lend cash to Yuri, who provides counterfeit money to fulfill the remaining ransom. Scudder, Kenny, Landau, Peter, and TJ drive to the cemetery. Scudder orders TJ to stay in the car. After a standoff, Lucia is returned to her father but suffering injuries to her hand from being tortured. Albert inspects the money and discovers the counterfeit bills. A shootout ensues. Peter is killed, and Scudder wounds Ray. Albert and Ray escape in their van, with TJ hiding in the back. After Albert and Ray arrive at their place, TJ sneaks out of the van. He tells Scudder their address. Albert betrays the wounded Ray by strangling him to death with a metal wire while in the basement. Scudder and Kenny find TJ outside the house and they all silently enter the house, finding Albert calmly eating his dinner. Albert surrenders and Scudder cuffs him. Kenny wants to kill him but Scudder talks him down. Seeing how TJ is in the room and is watching everything, Scudder reminds Kenny that there is enough evidence to put Albert behind bars for the rest of his life. Kenny reluctantly agrees. Scudder leaves Kenny alone with Albert while he puts TJ in a taxi to his apartment. Kenny knocks Albert unconscious with a bottle. He goes into the basement where he finds Ray's body and tools used for dismembering bodies. While Kenny is downstairs, Albert wakes up. Scudder goes back inside the house and finds Albert gone. He goes down the basement and sees Kenny's dead body on the stairs, implying that Albert killed Kenny. Albert suddenly tries to strangle him from behind with a metal wire. After a table-turning fight, Scudder overpowers and tases Albert. He eventually kills him with a gunshot to the head. A while later, police arrive at the crime scene with Scudder observing from afar. Scudder returns home to find TJ sleeping on the couch and spots a drawing that TJ made of himself as a superhero, with a sickle on his costume representing his sickle cell anemia.